Wood Solutions is a world-leading website used by tens of thousands of design and build professionals each year. From the homepage, you can access and download a huge range of free resources, such as 50 technical design guides to help you meet the requirements of the National Construction Code. And don't forget Species Solutions, the app that puts our resources at your fingertips. A database of nearly 2,000 questions and answers is just a click away. When you're looking for a wood-related product or service, explore more than 500 supplier listings. Grab your own Wood Solutions supplier listing and expose your business to thousands of potential customers every day.
Hi, I'm Nicole Monks. I'm Yamaji Wadri, Dutch and English, and I'm the Continuing Custodians Advisor for the Design Institute of Australia. Today, I'm lucky enough to be coming to you from Awabakal and Worimi country, right near where I grew up on the East Coast. And today, I would like to thank the Awabakal and Worimi people for taking such great care of this beautiful country. And further to this, as we're all coming together from all around Australia for the Designers Australia Awards 2022, I would like to acknowledge all First Nations people of this sacred land. I would like to acknowledge all elders, past, present and emerging, and I would like to acknowledge the songlines that connect us, the knowledge of country that binds us, and our ancestors that guide us. And I thank all mob for caring for country. Naganu Nura Erda. Thank you.
Welcome to the Designers Australia Awards 2022. My name's Ty Snaith. I'm an artist, author and lifelong design enthusiast, and I'm delighted to be your host this evening. We're coming to you from the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and more specifically from Robin Boyd's famous Walsh Street residence, which is actually not that far from the banks of the Birrarung. This house was designed in 1957 by Robin Boyd, and it actually still remains unchanged to this day. It has a lot of the original furniture, which was designed and made by his collaborators Mary and Grant Featherston, who are inductees into the DIA Hall of Fame. And the thing I love about this house is you can see the process of design in action. There's experimentation, but it's also about living. And that's one of the things that makes this piece of design still really relevant today. We'd like to thank our national program partners, SMEG Australia, Dulux Acrotex and Wood Solutions, and our media partner, Wish Magazine. Wherever you're watching this from, I hope you have a great night celebrating design, and thanks to all the members and event partners for your support. Let's get started. 82 projects were shortlisted in the 3 categories of place, use and interact. Let's start with interact. This award focuses on how we interact with design as a concept. For example, graphic design, exhibition design, and co-design solutions. The jury selected 8 projects to receive awards of merit, in no particular order. Monash University XYX Lab for Keep Running. Monash University XYX Lab for Your Ground. Ian Wong and Monash University for Victorian Premier's Design Awards Showcase, celebrating 25 years of design excellence. Exhibition Studios for Underground. Ellis Jones for Worth Holding On To. Design Is for Port Melbourne Secondary College Brand Strategy and Design. Co-Architecture for Co-Architecture and Australian Architecture Job Board. Ballaringi for Nation Brand Mark. And the winner is Culture as Creative, Sandra Gathinji Studio and Beyond the Built Environment for Say It Loud NARM Melbourne 2022. Congratulations. Say It Loud has been recognised by the DIA for its circular design approach. The jury felt community awareness and engagement was prioritised through a powerful narrative, which was successfully communicated via material selection, space organisation, lighting effect, interaction scenarios and the overall branding of the exhibition. Built upon the conceptual framework to elevate what is not seen, to make visible the invisible, the stepping away approach opened up new possibilities to reimagine the exhibition design, leading the visitor to a final design outcome that was thoughtful and interactive.
So I met Collie in 2019. Pre-pandemic, he was putting together an exhibition and I had apprehension. It always seems to start with my apprehension and Collie just saying, do it.
For me, it was a very emotional thing because I have, at a cost sometimes, have deliberately made sure, and Sandra has done the same if not more, have been quite deliberate about what work I'm doing and what message does this work send out to the world? How does it not better the world, not to be so corny, but how am I being a responsible practitioner and someone who is feeding back into society and the practice. And so we did this project. It was really from the heart. We spent so many nights, literally nights and early mornings working on this. So to have this acknowledgement, and we were not expecting any acknowledgement or any sort of, first of all, to have people come into the exhibit and be proud enough to have their work exhibited. That was the biggest thing and I said that, I was like, for these people to trust us with their work, to be like, here's my work, go and exhibit it. That's a big deal. And then for the DIA to sort of look at our work and just be like, give us this award. I mean, it's really career defining and sort of cements a lot of the decisions that I'll speak personally, that I personally have made, that have meant my practice has been the way that it is. And a lot of those are hard, but this means that, you know, the work that we do has to have meaning and value. And it's not about the brief of the work, it's about how we go about doing the work, how we engage, how we collaborate. Are we doing the right thing by all our contractors? Are we doing the right thing by the people whose work we're displaying, right? So every time we'd go back to them and send them back and be like, you know, this is how we're going to display your work. What are your thoughts on that? That sort of thing, like that engagement of caring about people. Anyway, I'll stop now, Sandra, you can go. I just went on and on. It's very emotional for me, that's all. That's what I'll say.
I think that's definitely shared in the sense that I think coming out of the pandemic, it's kind of like silver lining for me, because through that whole process was a lot of really reflecting on what design practice is and where is the meaning in kind of the work that we're doing on a day-to-day basis, and how is it valuable to society and communities, and how is it helping us develop and grow. And to be able to deliver something like this and have it recognized really kind of validates those decisions in terms of directing the practice in a way that is meaningful, is engaging, and is giving back in a sense. And doing that just through design. Like, design is capable of doing all these things, and design is able to be an activist. Like, design is activism, essentially, because you are designing in context. You're dealing with, you know, social issues, political issues. You're dealing with people and people's lives. So it's a great way of just, you know, bringing it in full circle and feeling that we can continue to design like this. This is a different avenue. It doesn't have to be always profit-led. It doesn't always have to be beautiful objects. Like, it can actually have impact. And yeah, that's really validating.
Congratulations, Sandra and Collie. And the next category is use. Think things we use, from our footwear to our furniture design, medical and camera equipment. In no particular order: Advanced Navigation for Hydrus, Blackmagic Design for Blackmagic Studio Camera, Blackmagic Design for Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, Blackmagic Design for Blackmagic Atom Mini Extreme, Blundstone Australia and Monash University with Sensei Lab and Design Health Collab for Blundstone Intelligent Footwear. Breville for An Aboriginal Culinary Journey by Breville. Charlwood Design for D-Smile. Design by Them for Olio Armchair. Edward Lineker and Danielle Brustman for Meteorite. Jam Factory for Heli Pendant Light. Nud Studio and Naomi Milgram Foundation for M Pavilion 2021 Dancer Chair. Returner Cumulo Group for Returner Marketplace. Simon Modra Design for Hexadeca. Street and Garden Furniture Co. for Street and Garden Studio. And the winner is Cobalt Design for Cobalt Mag Assist VAD Heart Pump. The key objective of this project was to engage cross-disciplinary design and create a unique product that merges core principles. The Mag Assist VAD Heart Pump is a brilliant product that results from a tight collaboration between engineering, design and medical science. Jurors applaud the rigorous, intelligent and valuable interdisciplinary design process and exploration of the concept, which translates to a life-saving outcome.
Cobalt Design is a product development group. We're proudly a design company, but ironically we employ more engineers than designers. Well, here in reception, we want to have a picture of all of our team. A project like the one we've done for Mag Assist involves a lot of people. And to be honest, I don't think there's anyone in the company who hasn't contributed some way to this project happening. In terms of mentorship, the program we're running at the moment is based on having people in senior levels assist people in at least 2 levels below them on how they can develop and be better at their job, both from a practices point of view, or the mechanical aspects as we call them, as well as the behaviours and cultural sort of management, leadership style, how you relate to people. I get almost all my satisfaction now in my career watching the career of our people develop. Winning this award is very special. I think getting awards from your peers is particularly sweet and significant. And one of the things that attracted me about the awards, and I'm glad that the DIA have done this, is really focused on the design process and the professionalism of design. The process is rigorous. The professionalism has to be high if you want to operate at these levels. And in a medical device project, that is at its absolute pinnacle.
So this device is the product I've got next to me here. What this device does is it provides circulatory support for a patient with critical cardiac failure. So effectively it's a heart pump. It takes over the heart function for a patient who's critically ill. The key technology on this unit is that it is a magnetically levitated pump. So there is no physical coupling between the electric motor here and the pump. And the reason for that is a direct coupling of a motor to a pump is going to cause a potential for a blood clot or damage to the blood. As part of the development process, we found that the surgeons and the clinical team, it was really important that they had adjustability of the position of the pump and the motor relative to the patient. So that key piece of information actually drove this sort of configuration of the device. The design process we run here at Cobalt involves designers and engineers together right from the start. So concepts that we come up with in the early days are informed by real life engineering and what is feasible. It's really rewarding personally to have to receive the recognition and accolades for a product like this. This is really a massive team effort. We're quite proud of the end result with the product. And in terms of personally working on a product like this that really does have the ability to save and improve lives is something that's really personally rewarding.
Congratulations to Steve and the Cobalt Design team. Our third and final category this evening is place. Design spaces where we live, work and play. In no particular order, Bates Smart for Hilton, Melbourne, Little Queen Street. Cox Architecture for Midtown Workplace. Cumulus for Goulburn Street Housing. Dust Studio for Esker Blewett Springs. Design Paper for South 32 Singapore. Diadem for 180 Lonsdale Street, Melbourne. Foolscap Studio for The Common, South Yarra. Gensler for EY Melbourne Reimagined. Hither Consulting for Vermont Terrace. Marta Design Studio for Gage Road's Frio Brewery. Monash Urban Lab for Retrofit Kit, design tools for making our homes accessible. Neil Cowney Architect for 123 House. Resin for IGO. Richards Stanisic for 9 to 15 Young Street. Russell and George for Society. Russell and George for Yakimono. Simone Haig for The Whiskey Room. Simone Haig, Tom Robertson and Studio Sly for Bassano. Site Architecture Studio for Rockingham Youth Centre. SJB for Eucalyptusdom. Studio AEM for Harbour View House. Studio 9 Architects for the Calyx project by Forage Built. Woods Bagot for ABN Group Headquarters, Leaderville. And the winner is Kennedy Nolan for Always. Unanimously selected, this exemplary approach focuses on a sensitive and holistic design methodology. The project drew on the reaches of memory, the evocative power of recognising form, colour, texture and light, and fused it with the resonance of shared memories, history and landscapes. Always blends with the physical environment through sensitive and reflective material selections. It successfully connects to place and engages with the landscape, architecture and history.
So we're currently on the Mornington Peninsula in Flinders on Boonwurrung country, and we are on a site right on the beach, and it's quite a wild, steep site. And this project took nearly 10 years in our practice to deliver. So this is the new intervention that really sat on the original Chancellor and Patrick House that almost holds the landscape and extends out like a promontory to Phillip Island in the distance. And this planted roof, like I said, is probably the biggest design move of the project, which allows the architecture to be half landscape, half building. So we're standing here and we've got this beautiful grassland, and the objective with this is like we're placing land back. You wouldn't even know standing here that there is a whole house, which you're about to discover, below this promontory. So this first door is an art piece that was commissioned by our client, by Jake Nash, who's an Indigenous designer. And it's what we've ended up calling the building, which is Always. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land. And when we open it, maybe you're not going to see what you thought you were going to see. The house starts to kind of unfold and take you in and slow you up. These little up the top north facing rooms are really special little spots to be, and you can see this is perfect right now. That kind of demonstrates that where we get north sun.
Yeah, we often look for moments to explore a bit of personality and colour in our projects, and bathrooms become a great space for that.
We have this lovely kind of weight and heft and thickness to the walls that the house, undeniably kind of domestic in its scale, there's still something pretty generous about the details. And then that beautiful view can be revealed. In our practice, we're always very conscious of the memory of place. It's very important that we remember the original Chancellor and Patrick building, even though we couldn't keep it. The bones of that building still kind of exist in the memory of this new house.
The furniture selection for this house originally began 10 years ago.
This house, as much as it has an enormous amount of amenity to provide, to bring people in, to be hospitable, for our client, it's still a really nice house to be in with just 1 or 2 people here. It's not just a Saturday night house, it's a Monday night house. We entered this project in place, and we consider ourselves placemakers. We're architects, but we just weren't just interested in architecture from the outside.
I think as a practice we don't distinguish architecture, interiors, landscape. It's important to integrate all of those elements in every project, and so it should always be completely seamless in its approach.
And after all these years, I think this project probably for us is a really strong synthesis of those principles. As designers, we're interested in lots of different things, and we really encourage our crew to look beyond architecture, to be interested in the world, if you like. There's a great appetite in our practice to understand what it means to be designing on country and to work out which direction we take for how we can contribute to reconciliation, which feels where we've landed at the moment, very closely coupled with our responsibility in delivering sustainable buildings, caring for country. So there's a lot of appetite within the practice to look more broadly than just making buildings.
Congratulations to Rachel, Patrick and the Kennedy Nolan team. Now to Gavin Campbell, the DIA President, to announce the President's Award.
Congratulations to all the winners across Place, Use and Interact. We are so proud to present such a rich body of winners that celebrate ethical, innovative and impactful design. They all recognise our collective commitment to Australian design and its influence on culture and society. It is now my honour to present the President's Award, which is bestowed on a designer working in any field or discipline who has embraced the stated aims of the award. The President's Award acknowledges their body of work and their commitment to promoting authenticity, diversity, equality, inclusivity, community and the environment. I am so delighted to announce the Designers Australia 2022 President's Award goes to John and Ross Moriarty from Ballaringi.
The President's Award is presented to Roz and John Moriarty, founders of Ballaringi, for their unique approach towards collaboration and inclusivity, respectful design process and an enduring commitment to the profession over many years. The DIA values Ballaringi's profound and authentic engagement with Aboriginal people and culture. We're able to see things from a fresh perspective through Roz and John Moriarty's contributions. This shift in thinking driven by diversity and inclusivity is essential moving forward for all designers. The DIA values this truly prototypical approach towards design, an examination and celebration of values, respect, deep listening and processes towards diversity and belonging.
And what we try to do here now is to get all people to, through design and concepts like that, to reconnect with this land and learn more about it. And I think the last few years, I think most Australians are very strong on accepting the old Aboriginal culture, but also want to learn more and more about it.
And I think what our work does is brings a contemporary Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cohort into the conversation, because the stories in urban areas haven't gone anywhere, they're just under the concrete. So our work in major infrastructure is about revealing those, making them visible and changing the dialogue. And I think there's a generational change. You know, the younger cohort that we work with amongst our clients, it's not always the young cohort, very often it's new thinking, because there's better awareness, there's greater awareness in education. I think there's a greater interest in social justice. There's a whole wave, I think, of reasons why our work has matured at a great time.
From when we started to what we're doing now, it's phenomenal how I feel, because it's been accepted in such a way that I think was our original plan to get art, culture, of what Australia's all about to all of Australians and outside of Australia as well.
So these kind of projects are major infrastructure in the middle of really big cities where we are bringing local artists who are creating sometimes just sketches on paper.
The local artists also give the stories from their land area, which has never been told before in many areas that we deal with. And we bring that to the forefront, not only for the local people, not just Aboriginal people, but all the local communities, so that they can appreciate exactly what land they walk on and what land they live on.
Well, these, I guess, are our pride and joy, and it's now a 30-year relationship with Qantas, and one of the things we're very grateful for is that we were able to convince Qantas all those decades ago that it would be a good idea to put Indigenous design onto the fuselage of a really big aircraft. In this case, it was a 747. But it's your story.
Well, it couldn't have been much better than with Qantas, because I had the Flying Kangaroo, and this is dreaming, well, my dreaming, called Wunala Dreaming, and it's the Kangaroo Dreaming plane right through. And this gave a great deal of spirituality to a lot of our people, and also to appreciate what Australian culture is all about through Aboriginal design.
I think we're a young nation that has struggled to recognise the antiquity of our heritage. I think that's the crux of it. And it's not been taught in schools, it's not been acknowledged because of the circumstances of colonisation. It was not a convenient story. So I think now, with changing in truth-telling and looking at how as Australians do we want to go forward with our national narrative, you know, how honest are we prepared to be, then to me design is an absolute vanguard in that conversation, and it's a very positive way to integrate this kind of thinking.
Do you see what you're doing as sort of the glue that can sort of bind Australia together? You know, we're a young nation made up of so many multicultural sort of identities, and it's been a struggle maybe for us to find an identity.
I think we have probably almost refused to search for that identity. You know, we've really not been thinking of ourselves, I think, as Australians in a global sense. I think it's a legacy of colonisation and convenient stories around that. It's a big story that design can be part of.
There's a shift in the way we're starting to appreciate and value what we actually have had. You've had for 60,000 years.
It's those things that can reach out to all peoples of Australia and the world. So, but it's the old Aboriginal culture, and they're very humble about it, and they feel that they would like to share it with a lot of people.
And be respected.
Yeah, and that's the word, I think, of the day, respect.
I think we see an opportunity in design that is deeply informed, that is local to place, and that brings stakeholders and traditional custodians and contemporary Indigenous people to the table with Australian designers and within Australian design teams. Yes, it's an opportunity, but it's also a responsibility these days, and there's an obligation here, I think, from social justice, from social equity, but the beneficiary is Australian design.
And that brings the Designers Australia Awards to a close. A big congratulations to Roz and John. How inspiring. Well done to all the category winners and those shortlisted. Thanks to everyone who helped make this happen. Enjoy the rest of your night, wherever you may be.